looked like you were getting. That's a way to help things along. Direct grant for every organization, if we start doing it as wonderful as this cause is, we'd have to focus on so many other causes and really depart from our procedures, which have been put in really out of matter of fairness, because every year we have many Boca Raton organizations who look for funding, and we can't fund anywhere near all of it. We do our best, but we have limited money in our budget for that. So it's probably more challenging for us to do. After the meeting, I'm happy to share with you. You can hang out, or I have your contact info. I got some ideas, and we all may have some ideas on some other organizations that might help. I will suggest, too, I was looking on the VFW website. I did not see a way that you could donate online. You may want to get that up and running before your event in connection. But there are some other organizations who can help. I hope you can appreciate that. It's just very tough for us to take. We would have every other organization coming here each meeting, and then that would totally defeat our budgeting process. But appreciate all you're doing, and I'm sure there's ways. I'm glad you share this. I'm sure there's ways for every one of us to try to get more information about your wonderful efforts. As for FAU, yes, so on-campus issues are solely an FAU issue. You'll have to go talk to the governance there, starting with President Kelly and, at the very top and everyone down the line. Some things that we've been doing are having discussions that are ongoing about the 20th Street corridor for more university complementary uses. And I think we're going to have more of that discussion at our strategic planning session, which is at the end of May. So I'm sure we'll all bear in mind your concerns. That would relate to what we do off campus. We do have a master campus agreement that periodically we renew with FAU, but really what you're looking for has got to start with FAU. That's in their world. But we appreciate your being here today, and that's what I wanted to offer. Anyone else, if any thoughts? If not, we'll move on with the rest of the meeting. You're reaching? No? Okay. I think, Mr. Thomson, you're reaching? Everyone's reaching, so.
I just wanted to say those were very articulate comments from the FAU students. They have been given a fantastic education at FAU, and I'm so thankful that you all had the chance to be here today. You didn't have to stay through the entire meeting, although I'm glad that you did. You all got my email saying that you were free to go, right? Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. O'Rourke?
Well, I'll just add to everyone that spoke out, thank you for what you're doing, the horrors of which we cannot imagine of what's going on. So if we can help through our system of how we help nonprofits, perhaps where the amphitheater advertises different events that are happening, it will be promoted through that as well. And I would talk to you afterwards, too, and maybe make a couple suggestions. FAU Go Owls, I'm a graduate. I'm the one up here that represents FAU. And love hearing from you students and love seeing you sit through a meeting that was a rather difficult meeting. They're not all like that, but some are, and that's what happens when you get into government. So good luck to you with that. FAU's, as the mayor said, he addressed that issue. But we do try to work with the students and FAU, and if there's anything else we can do, we can provide housing on campus, but we're happy to engage with you regarding your needs. Thank you for coming out.
And if you like this meeting and hung out this long, you may consider a career in government or law. We saw more cross-examination today than we have in 4 years. So with that, we'll turn to introduction of ordinances.
Mr.
Oh,
Senior,
I'm sorry,
Mr. Mayor, sorry, no, it's okay.
You were reaching, then you
I was reaching, and then I changed my mind again. So thank you, everybody, for speaking. I would love to speak about your event. My grandmother was born in Kiev, so I don't know that I have any relatives left there any longer, but there is an affinity for me to Kiev, so I would love to talk to you after the meeting. So thank you.
I just want to thank everyone for coming out and sticking it out with us. But today you saw government at work. This is what we do. People ask, what do you do every day? And this is what we do. We govern, and we are policymakers, and we listen to our community, and we appreciate you being here. And a special shout out to the FAU students. Everybody knows education is my real passion, and I'm happy that you're all here and that you're learning, and hopefully one day you'll be up here. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. All right, we'll now turn to introduction of ordinances. Ms. Siddons, would you please read the title of Ordinance 5611?
Ordinance number 5611, an ordinance of the City of Boca Raton considering for the Boca Surgery Center located at 501 Glades Road, an amendment to Exhibit A, setting forth the site plan of a universal conditional UC approval, ordinance number 3564, as amended by ordinance number 3792, to authorize the construction of an approximately 11,740 square foot medical office building and other site improvements, including additions and modifications of surface parking area, provided for repealer, providing an effective date.
And who would like to introduce this ordinance?
Mr. Mayor, I'll introduce ordinance 5611.
Thank you very much. Ms. Siddons, would you please read the title of ordinance 5612?
Ordinance number 5612, an ordinance of the City of Boca Raton authorizing the mayor and city clerk to execute a non-exclusive construction and demolition (C&D) debris collection and disposal services franchise agreement with EMS Roll-Off, Inc., pursuant to Section 14-21 Code of Ordinances, providing for severability, providing for appealer, providing an effective date.
And who would like to introduce ordinance 5612?
Mr. Mayor, I
Ms.
will
Mayor?
introduce ordinance 5612.
Thank you very much. That concludes our introduction of ordinances. We have no resolutions or other business. We have no quasi-judicial public hearings for variances and appeals. So we will turn to city manager reports and recommendations. Mr. Rennell.
Thank you. I have no reports this evening.
Thank you. Ms. Freezer.
Thank you. I have no report at this time.
Thank you. Councilmember reports. Ms. O'Rourke, please.
I just really have a quick question. I attended my first board meeting of the group of boards that we decided we were going to visit, and are we going to set up a workshop to give feedback from the boards, or are we just going to do it as each one happens? Or should we make that decision?
I think we should make the decision. I would suggest that we not do it each one at a time. Why don't we figure out after, because we had boards over the next couple of months,
Yes.
just figure out perhaps some point to report back. When do you all think we should do that? Because it depends on what schedule we were looking at. Anyone want to?
No, that makes sense to me. I don't think we should do it, one at a time. I'd like to do it. However, if some go on into the summer, past the summer, I don't think we should wait that long. So,
June? Ms. Mayotte, I see a question.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Did we make any sort of timeline that we wanted to have this done by strategic planning? Was that sticks in my head. I don't know if we made that decision or not.
I don't recall that.
Okay, all right, maybe that was just in my head.
Yeah.
Just maybe it was just a thought I had. But I think we should talk about it as a group and what we, put it all together and
Right.
have a big discussion.
Okay. We could do it as strategic planning, although I'm sure we're going to have a lot of other things, and that's probably, it seems to me that's probably
Yeah,
not
I
the most
didn't-
strategic issue.
I didn't mean to infer that I wanted it done at strategic planning. I thought we should have our discussion before strategic planning happened. But if that's because of the timing of the meetings, and some of them are quarterly, and we won't get to them, that might not be possible.
Okay.
So, but whenever it happens, I would, maybe over the summer, I would like to, have it all together, not individually.
You'll for a question, Ms. Drucker?
I guess my question is everybody ready to attend the meetings? Do we have coverage for everything we already, whoever said that was going to go to the meetings, are those being covered? That's the easier, yeah.
I believe so, yes.
Yes, okay. I have some coming up, that's what I'm saying. I have some that I haven't gone to because they haven't met, so that's coming up. So it might be before or after, I'm not sure.
so
All right, so when do you want to do it? Yes. Pardon me? Ms. Thompson?
Let's do the best we can to be done by,
Yeah.
strategic planning.
maybe we can shoot for the second workshop in May before strategic planning.
Sure, yes. Why not?
That fair?
How's that sound?
And-
Why don't we just have a report there? It doesn't preclude us from talking about it in the future.
Yeah. We can
right.
add more later.
Okay. Thank you. Is that the end of your report?
And I'm sorry, the woman from the library left, and we didn't comment on her great comments, and it was just really good to hear about the library. So I'm sorry she left before we got to say something.
I
That's
did
all
call her
have.
enthusiastic, so I think she heard
Yes.
that at least. So
It was nice to end on a high note in that respect, I would say, after this meeting.
it is. Thank you. Mr. Thompson?
Just want to give a shout out to the FAU students in the audience. They are all students in a local and state government class and only had to stay here for an hour and stayed here for it's 2.5 so far. So as you can see, these are overachievers. And I'm proud of them. That's it.
Do we happen to know who might be the instructor of that class? Well, very good. Well, thank you for your volunteering there to try to mold young minds and future leaders. We appreciate that. Ms. Mayotte?
I have no report tonight.
Thank you. Ms. Drucker?
I have no report, thank you.
Thank you. And we've had a long meeting. I'll just thank everyone for coming, and that'll conclude my report. If there's no further business to come before the City Council, we are adjourned at 8:32. Good evening.